Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Will Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, declare martial law in the United States of America on April 20th this year? I don't know if he will, but I know that he can. And I also know that the owners of our country will support us if they do it for the right reasons. Why do I think so? It's because we had the pandemic. Remember the pandemic? The pandemic was the drill to see how far they can go with us. The land of the free and the home of the braves. Not many braves anymore, but free, none. So what do we have here? We have two articles. And they talk about some rumors that Trump, when he signed the first day in office, an executive order that would expire or would be available for 90 days after his inauguration, said something about the Insurrection Act of 1807, which gives him the right to declare martial law if a state of emergency is declared, observed, noticed, supported, and then see, for that I have to protect you. All right, let's see these two articles and discuss if he will. He can. I have no doubt that he can. After all, Zelensky has declared martial law since 2022, but they are at war. That's an emergency. All right, let's start with the first article. This article comes from Snopes, and the other one comes from Newsweek. Let's start with Newsweek Snopes. Okay, this is actually from the 11th of April, and the other one is from the 8th of April. They say basically the same thing. Rumors claim Trump will declare martial law on April 20th. Here's what we know. Online users shared a rumor in April 2025 claiming US President Donald Trump would invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 and then declare martial law. I will read for you the Insurrection Act of 1807. It's an article XX or 1010 pop, and we're going to discuss which gives him the right to do it in case of an emergency and so on. Here it is. Key points. Online users shared a rumor claiming US President Donald Trump would invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 on April 20th, 2025, followed by him declaring martial law. The Insurrection Act grants US presidents the power to deploy the military into states for civilian law enforcement. To share the rumor, users copied and pasted the text from the first archived in a series of articles written by the blogger Zaparaka. So this is what it says. The rumor partly pertained to a Trump executive order issued on January 20th, declaring a national emergency at the southern U.S. border. Part of the order requested Trump to receive a joint report from the Secretaries of Defense and Homeland Security within 90 days or by April 20th. That is Adolf's birthday, by the way, and probably that's why they want to put it together that way. A tyrant with another tyrant, right? Advising, and I'm quoting, whether to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807, end quote. The order did not explicitly mention the words martial law. All right, so what do we have here? The Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, and the White House did not yet respond to emailed requests for comments. So let's go down to read the beautiful Insurrection Act. The Library of Congress hosts the original text of the Insurrection Act of 1807 on page 443 archived of legislation pertaining to the 9th Congress. As of 2025, the Act exists in its amended form in Title 10 of the U.S. Code. The Trump issued executive order from January 20th specifically featured the words Insurrection Act of 1807 rather than generally referencing the matter as the Insurrection Act. The original text from 1807 reads as follows. All right. Chapter 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, boom. And 10, 10, 10, 9, I can't remember what it is. An act authorizing the employment of the land and naval forces of the United States in cases of insurrection. So if that's an insurrection, then they can do that. But not only be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that in all cases of insurrection and or obstruction to the laws either of the United States or of any individual state or territory where it is lawful for the President of the United States to call forth the militia for the purpose of suppressing such insurrection or of causing the laws to be duly executed, it shall be lawful for him to employ for the same purposes such part of the land of naval force of the United States as shall be judged necessary, having first observed all the prerequisites of the law in that respect. Approved March 3rd, 1807. So, President Thomas Jefferson, in office from 1801 through 1809, introduced the act in response to fears that his Vice President Aaron Burr might incite a rebellion or insurrection after Jefferson replaced him for Jefferson's second term in Pop. Alright, so let's go and see. So he can do it for, if we have problems here, obstruction to the laws. So let's say Trump says in the southern border it's lawless. It's just craziness. These people crossing the border in our beautiful country, our territory, our land, our property, trespassing there is, we can stop them. They overwhelm the police. They overwhelm the whatever authorities we have at the border patrols and so on. Now, I don't know if you've been around the border with Mexico. I've been many times, and I can tell you that but it's true that I've been years back, but still, it's just no. You can just clop. Anyway, that's what you think. Now they have drones and other things, infrared and night visions and so on. So what do we have here? He can do it if he considers that that's a problem over there and people don't respect laws and that's a security threat in the state, or he can just say, well, United States of America is this and that. He can say tomorrow, for instance, and I suspect, let's put it mildly. I can't say predict, because predict is like, people say, hey, do you have any knowledge of that? I don't have any knowledge. But I think that if Trump is doing the wrong move, which I think he's not doing the wrong move considered with what he's supposed to do. Okay? If he's doing the wrong move, steps on the wrong side, something will happen. Something big will happen. Either he dies in office with different causes, a little heart attack or a mini stroke, or simply old age, or I don't know, his helicopter has a technical difficulties while over Potomac River or wherever, or simply something happens in the country. I don't know, like a terrorist attack. And if that happens, then these guys will blow it to protect us. Out of proportion, they point the finger at Iran. And after that, they will say, we are at war with Iran. I have to institute martial law right here to protect you, my friends. Something is wrong here. And I think he could do that. And remember, he will have to. Otherwise, he's going to be out of the office cold. So this is the first article. The other one says basically the same thing. Comes from Newsweek. Is Donald Trump declaring martial law? No, he's not, but he could. And they're talking about, as I said, the border. While a signed executive order has triggered some debate over a possible use of the Insurrection Act, there is no credible evidence or reporting that martial law is being considered anywhere in the United States. For me, when I saw what happened with, how should I put it? It was the emperor has no clothes. That was the COVID-19, the mandates and how these guys behaved. It was let's say if I was already at 925, negative 925, with my hope that this is really what it is, what they say it is, that escalated about 1 point. So, all right, for me it was not a big deal, it was just a confirmation. And I hoped that other people saw it and realized how we are. With those mandates, they trampled or they stepped on whatever they wanted. They just pushed it to see how far they could go. That was a drill. And I said when it happened, as much as I was allowed by the gatekeepers of the truth, YouTube in this case, I said it many times, this was a drill. They went pretty far and they said, okay, now stop, don't get too much, you're gonna break it. Relax. And they will use it again and they will start from there. And they will say, well, remember the COVID? We did that. Now these are really more dangerous circumstances we have to do, I don't know, like a martial law. It's possible. It's possible. And they hope that by having Trump selected and confirmed by the population through voting, they will keep some baboons in check right there. Check. They will say, checkmate, not. Let's just check. Oh, you can't move. Why? The system works. But there are plenty of people out there who realize only by looking at America First, Trump's Middle East policy to realize, and look at the names surrounding him, to realize whose boy Trump is. So remember, if you start pointing out to these deceivers, then you might be punished. Why? Look what he's doing with those guys that he deports because they become a threat with the wrong ideas. They call it differently, obviously, anti-this and anti-that, but basically that's what it is. People with the wrong ideas, they try to deport them, and they report it. They don't give a shit. You know, the same as do it first and then answer later or never. The same these guys, they're just deporting, and then you're never going to come back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. My point is, he can do it, very possibly will do it if he's told so. Told so, he doesn't have to say, hey, you do it right now. They have an agenda, my friends, and the agenda is to keep us working for them. Put out, that's what it is. And when we start, hey, just a second, what's going on here? Then they will fight any method. They lost the propaganda war. It doesn't mean that they can't put the cat in the bag or the genie in the box or whatever. They can do this. And when we are going to say something, the land of the brave, remember? Then they will do it very easily. Legally, they will do it. They don't have to, how do you call it, break any laws. They will use the laws in the books. Actually, who wrote the laws? We or they? It's always they or them against. Thank you very much. I mean, these guys are voting for their salaries. Can you do this at work? Unless you're a CEO or whatever to make your salary somehow. Go and work and say, today I will do what these guys, our official representatives who are actually employed by me, they vote their salaries and their benefits, but I can't do this. And supposedly they are my employees. I mean, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.